Hi, JD here again. Check this out. I meant to mention this a few weeks ago. So I recently was looking for a used car. I was thinking of getting rid of my BMW M140. I wanted to cut down my monthly outgoings, so I started looking around for a used car. And I found one, and I went to the dealer. I shan't mention the dealer, but it was a main agent. I shan't mention the brand, but I will say that the retail price on the used car was £16,881. A bit of an odd amount, but that's what it was, 16,881. So I said to the dealer, even though thinking, you know, it's very unlikely I'm going to take your finance because I know the rate's going to be sky high, as you'll see in a minute, nonetheless, I asked for a PCP quote. It was 4 years, 0 deposit. And let's remember the retail price was 16,881, and all I said to the dealer was, please can I have a PCP quote based on this car, 0 deposit, 48 months, 10,000 miles a year. This is the quote that they emailed to me without any explanation at all. Here it is. I've omitted some details. What do you notice about this quote? Oh look, hang on a minute, cash price of the vehicle including VAT if applicable, 17,406. Right, hang on a minute, I thought the car was 16,881. So I go straight back to the dealer and say, oh yeah, thanks very much for sending me the quote. We'll talk about the quote in a minute actually. Could you send me the right one, please? Do you know what they said? Oh yeah, sorry about that. We thought you'd like paint protection, so we added that on for you. Really? Interesting. Okay, so you've built something into this finance agreement that I haven't even asked for, and you didn't even point it out to me when you sent the quote back. This is what I'm getting at, folks. Please make sure you read everything you are given. I didn't even ask for it. I'll tell you why I didn't ask for paint protection. I've got a big thing about detailing. I love detailing my car, and I equally don't like being ripped off. Now, when you go to a dealer and they offer you some kind of paint protection, the paint protection itself is not actually a bad product. There are much better ones out there, but it's not a bad product. The problem is that if you get paint protection installed, if you like, on a car from a main dealer, they won't spend, I'm not going to say how long they spend because I don't know, but I guarantee they won't spend the time required to properly apply that protection. When I picked up the car, I did end up buying this car. I'll tell you about how I bought it in a minute and the way I financed it, because it certainly wasn't going down their route. But when I picked up the car, it had been valeted, if you like, but there was polish residue left all over the boot. But the main issue was that all down the sides there were tar spots everywhere, lots of them. Obviously tar gets flicked up from the road surface. It was all around the arches, it was all across the sills, and the roof and the bonnet and all the horizontal surfaces were like sandpaper. Now when you touch a car's paint surface, you've put your hand inside a plastic bag, for example, and move your I'm trying to look at the monitor here, you can't really see what I'm doing, but you basically rub your hand over the paint surface, you'll hear all the decontaminants. And this car was like sandpaper. Okay, so I asked myself, what's the point of applying paint protection to that? For paint protection to work and to bond properly to the surface of the paint, it's got the paint first has got to be prepared well. It's like any job. It's like when you do painting and decorating. There's no point painting your woodwork if you don't fill and sand and prepare it first. And that's exactly the same principle with this. So I would never have a dealer apply it. I may have it done, and I have had it done on previous cars, and I've also done it myself, but look how much they were charging. So the actual price was 16,881. So if we do 16,881 from 17,406, we get Well, I know what it is. It's 525 because I've already worked it out. 17,406 minus 16,881. £525. So they were going to charge me £525 plus the interest, as you will see in a minute, to get a substandard finish. Okay, like I say, I'm not saying the product itself is particularly bad. As I say, there are much better ones out there. But they were going to charge you £525 for the privilege of applying it on a surface that I pretty much guarantee wouldn't have been prepared properly. It took me, when I got this car home, about 7 hours of what did I do? Iron decontamination, tar spot removal, full clay bar. In fact, it took me 3 passes with the clay bar to get the bonnet and the roof pretty smooth. It's not brilliant still. So it took me all day pretty much to give this car a detail, and I didn't even get out the machine polisher. So all I did was actually prepare the surface and apply a decent wax. So I guarantee for £525 I wouldn't be getting that. The irritating thing is you could go to a decent car detailer. Have a look at people like Jim White on YouTube, White Details, fantastic. He's done one of my cars before. You know, might be a little bit more than that, but for a single stage correction, you know, a couple of days work, you'd probably get away with that, maybe a little bit more, but it'd be much, much better money spent than giving it to a dealer. Let's just have a look at actually how much it was costing us then. So it's 17,406 as opposed to 16,881. So on this agreement, look, it had a final value of 3,990, so not a huge final value, so you probably would be building some equity into this car. And it was going to be £386.37 a month. Check this out. 11.9% APR. So let's go into the old spreadsheet and see how much that paint protection that I hadn't even asked for was going to cost me. So 17,406, 386.24 the spreadsheet says. Obviously due to rounding in the calculations it's slightly out. The actual quote was 386.37. So my spreadsheet is 13 pence a month out, so you can see it's pretty accurate. Let's make it 16,881. The actual price of the vehicle, 372.59. So what's that? £14 nearly. So £14 every month for 4 years for some paint protection that probably wouldn't be actually that good or that well applied. Let me show you how I actually did finance it in the end. So there's a video on my channel, I'll put a link up to it here, called PCP with a bank loan. And I kind of recommend it's something that people look at if they're considering perhaps an older car like this was. This was a 5-year-old car, where it can actually work out much cheaper because you're not going to get such a competitive rate on a used car a lot of the time to actually finance the car on a bank loan. So what I did, I borrowed 16,500, so I put £381 towards the car. I did it over a 5-year personal loan, and I got 3.1% APR. Now, you might say, well, yeah, that's 5 years, this is 4 years, but this is a 4-year PCP, obviously, with a final value of 3,990. So what I do, I take out a personal loan, or in this case, what I did do is take out a personal loan over a longer term, but as long as the settlement after 48 months is the same or less than the guaranteed future value on the PCP agreement, I can be confident I'm pretty good hands. Yes, I've not got the protection, I've not got the voluntary termination rights, etc. But that actually isn't as important to me as when I was buying a new car, because the depreciation on this is going to be much less, and the chances are, you know, even within say a year into the term, I should be able to get out of this car pretty much owing nothing, because the depreciation is going to be much less. So let me just show you how it worked out. So 16,500. In fact, let's do it on 16,881 to make it a fair comparison, but I did put a little bit of money in it. But if we did a loan for 16,881, obviously we don't have a guaranteed future value because it's a straight personal loan, and I got it at 3.14%, but I did it over 60 payments. Now, the monthly payment has dropped what, £70 plus if we go on the previous example without the paint protection that we didn't want anyway. £304. So we've saved £70 a month, £70 a month, and look at our settlement after 48 months. £3,605. So I'm saving £70 a month. So in 48 months, I've saved what? A lot, about £3,000 probably. 48 times 74, something like that. And look, we owe less than we would have done on the PCP route. So £300, nearly £400 less. So we've got £400 more equity in the car at the end. And plus, it's cost us £70 a month less to get there. So that's the way I've done it. Also, the nice thing about a personal loan is you own the car from day one. So I could sell this car. I don't have to worry about having to settle the finance first. And I own the car after 5 years. So that's the way I've done it. But the important bit about this video was the fact that I asked for a quote on a car with a purchase price of 16,881, and the quote that came back was for a purchase price of 17,406 because they'd added paint protection on that I didn't ask for. I hope that was interesting. Thanks for watching. Please comment and subscribe. See you next time.